The Ojai Valley is 10 miles long, 3 miles wide, and totals some 90 square miles. It is a rare east-west valley, ringed by mountains, some rising to 4,000 feet above sea level. Charles Nordhoff, one of the early champions of Ojai, called it a lovely pocket in the mountains. Edward Libby, Ojai's great benefactor, said he'd been all over the world and he'd seen 2 places to compare with the Ojai Valley, one in Syria and one on the Bosphorus Strait, and Ojai beat 'em both. Since 1987, the growth rate of the Ojai Valley has been around 4%. During the same period of time, the county of Ventura has experienced a 13% population increase, and the state of California has grown a whopping 25%. The people who live in the Ojai Valley realize that what they have is special. And they also realize that what is special almost always needs protecting. Rich Hanley is one of the founders of the Ojai Valley Land Conservancy.
We didn't really think that we could just keep fighting development forever. We knew that we had to do something to turn the corner and set aside these properties that were being threatened, so the Conservancy was a natural. The land conservancies across the United States are really, it's really a great setup because the citizens themselves, get involved in taking care of these open spaces, and it's just so much more effective. And another reason why it works so well is because the nonprofits are doing the work that the government would normally have to do.
Government here in the United States is starting to really face constraints. And you see a push for cuts and cuts and cuts. Vital services are going to have to be maintained. The things that we want to do, government can help communities that help themselves. But the initial lead on things like this, citizens have to step forward. So the Land Conservancy needs people in the Ojai Valley, people in Ventura County to step forward and help and make this thing happen. It is a way to invest and create a legacy for generations to come.
In its 25 years, the Ojai Valley Land Conservancy has received donations and volunteer help from nearly 3,000 supporters. Over $4 million has been raised. Because the Conservancy works closely with many federal and state agencies, each dollar donated effectively brings nearly $10 to the cause of protecting open space right here where we all live.
When I look back to the trajectory of the Conservancy over the last 25 years, I see 2 inflection points, 2 important changes in inflection or changes in the results that the organization produced in that time. The first one was in the 1999 to 2003 timeframe, and that's when the Ojai Valley Land Conservancy protected the Ventura River Preserve, the Ojai Meadows Preserve, and the Clough Vista Park, just a shining example of native plants right in our home, right in the heart of our community, all in a 2 or 3 year time period. That was an incredible risk for the organization, a risk of failure to take on those massive projects with the fundraising burden that they entailed. There's another inflection point or acceleration in the results of the organization that took place in the last few years, in the 2009 to 2012 timeframe, where we've protected another 2 river properties, including a mile-long steelhead preserve, and also received a conservation easement donation, which by dollar amount was the biggest gift to the Land Conservancy in our history. In my experience, success leads to success. And so when you have groupings of projects like we have in these inflection points in our history, it creates an opportunity for the organization to do much more conservation work. And I think that opportunity is with us today.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that by the year 2050, water scarcity will affect 45% of the world's population. That's only 38 years from now, a blink of the eye. Our granddaughters will be worrying about their granddaughters. Living on Earth is changing rapidly now. Protecting nature is the most important thing we can do with our time and our good fortune.
What we're doing now is obviously for our children and our children's children, because the world's changing pretty fast.
John Muir once said that, you try to pull out anything by itself out of nature, you find it's all hitched to everything else in the universe. Everything's connected together.
If in succeeding generations we think like the Hopi and plan ahead for future generations, then this valley will remain rich and unique for decades and centuries to come. And the Land Conservancy will be a key part of that. Because the Land Conservancy, after all, is responsible, as its motto used to go, is responsible for preserving Ojai's special places forever. And it's done a remarkable job of that to date.
The Ojai Valley Land Conservancy, standing tall for 25 years.
Natunda ngege